All life begins and follows its life cycle from infancy to adulthood till death. In any society, children are the future. They have the strength and youth to carry history forward. At the same time, seniors are the source of living memory. They have built the infrastructure for younger generations, and their memory gives society the momentum to continue on its path. As such, all societies need to take care of them, especially when it comes to healthcare. In Canada, children and seniors have a right to access quality and affordable care services. Alongside government-funded programs, they benefit from alternative care provided by charities and nonprofit organizations. One such example is therapeutic clowning, which has been offered by various agencies throughout Canada. The services have been greatly appreciated at healthcare facilities since scientific research demonstrates that clowns can bring laughter to break existing deadlocks, help the healing process, and mitigate caregiver stress by improving the spirits of patients. Indeed, humor stimulates mirth, which creates a primarily emotional response with psychological effects. It also stimulates laughter, which provokes a physical response with physiological effects. These two enhance the well-being of children, adults, and senior citizens, whether they are healthy, sick, or depressed. Starting in Winnipeg in 1986, therapeutic clowning has grown to several major cities in Canada. Toronto in 1993, Vancouver in 1994, Mississauga in 2001, Montreal in 2002, Halifax in 2006, and so on. The one and only organization that offers therapeutic clowning in Montreal was created on June 20, 2002, as a non-profit organization under the name Dr. Clown. In 2012, it was renamed as Jovia. This organization's mission is to contribute to improving the quality of life of hospital patients through its therapeutic clown programs that combine complicity, playfulness, and imagination. Jovia offers 2 therapeutic clown programs that are integrated into the treatment plans of Canadian healthcare facilities. First, pediatric programs for children at hospitals, from day clinics to other departments alike, including surgery, oncology, multi-specialties, etc., and in specialized centers, rehabilitation and palliative care. And second, geriatric programs for seniors who are no longer independent, live in residence, or long-term care facilities. Jovia services are free for hospitalized patients, their families, as well as hospital staff on a permanent and long-term basis. Jovia gets funding from 3 sources: earned incomes, as in service fees charged to hospitals for its interventions, charitable donations, and grants. The money received is used for paying clowns, training them, and covering administrative costs. Despite initial success, Jovia has been experiencing critical challenges over the past 3 years that forced the management to reconsider its business model, as well as functional strategies with regard to finance, marketing, and creative management. Let's see how our contestants can help Jovia move forward.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. I am very pleased to welcome you all to the final round of presentations for IGC 2014. For 2 days straight, these 9 teams in this room worked extremely hard and had the pleasure to present their pitches and their reports this morning. Amongst the 9 teams, 3 have been chosen to present right now, today, in the finals, which is why we're all here. So without further ado, I will announce the 3 finalist teams, starting with the Copenhagen Business School. HEC Montreal. And Aalto University. So now I will be doing a draw to find out the order of these 3 presentations. What will happen is those that are going first will go over here with Andrea, who's going to set you up with a mic, and the other 2, I believe, go in isolation. So the first team that will present today at the finals is HEC Montreal. The second team that will present, Copenhagen Business School, leaving Aalto as the 3rd university presenting. I would also like to announce those that made it to the top 6 round, of course. Our 3 finalists, so HEC Montreal, Aalto, and Copenhagen. We also had McGill University. Thank you. Rochester University. And Warrington University in Florida. For those of you who don't know, this morning the teams were evaluated by the 9 following judges, who I will ask to come on stage. Come on. Yes. We had Professor Anne Bourris, Professor Bernard Sinclair Desgagnés, Jean-Paul David, Mario Saucier, Professor Katerina Turkina, Christopher Beininger, Daniel Dansereau, Stéphane Etier, and Guy Rivard. These judges had the impossible task of narrowing it down from 9 to 6 and eventually to the 3 teams that we will be seeing present today. We want to thank you again for your hard work and your crucial role in this competition, and you may find all their biographies in the bios given to you at the entrance. So once again, I'd like to offer them a huge round of applause. And I'll let you go back to reading the reports. Good luck. Merci à vous. As we are approaching the final moments of the competition, I would like to introduce you to the panel of judges that will be deciding the winner of the 3rd edition of IGC. And I will ask the judge to get up when I call his name so everyone can know exactly who he or she is. We have Professor Laurent Simon, who is an associate professor here in the Department of Management Education here at HEC Montreal. He creates and now teaches the master's degree course in Management of Innovation. His research focuses on the study of innovative projects, knowledge management, and the management of the establishment in different environments. He is the founder and director of HEC Montreal Mosaic, a research group that focuses on the transfer and promotion on the theme of creation and innovation in the organization. Thank you for being here. We also have someone who you all know very well by now, Mai Tai, who is assistant professor in the International Business Department here at HEC Montreal. Her expertise in entrepreneurship, qualitative methods, and emerging economies are her expertise. Prior to her academic career, she was an entrepreneur and journalist in Vietnam until 2001. For the last few years, she has been researching the link between entrepreneurship and its socioeconomic, cultural, and political contexts. Specifically, she examines how these contexts influence the internalization of small and medium-sized enterprises and startups, entrepreneurial motivations, and migrations of entrepreneurs. Thank you. We also have Stéphane Coudet with us today. He is the EDBA candidate at Paris Dauphine University. He holds a post-MBA from Harbin Institute of Technology and a double diploma MBA, EMBA from Université de Québec à Montréal and Paris Dauphine University. Mr. Coudet is the president of XSM2 Group Inc., which is a Montreal-based company that he founded in 2009, which specializes in strategy, marketing, and management in business-to-business and business-to-government markets. Thank you. We also are pleased to introduce Mélissa Caron. After having completed her undergraduate studies in communication studies at Concordia University, she began her career at the Government of Quebec as a communication advisor at the Agriculture, Fisheries, and Food Ministry of Quebec, where she developed a 10-year expertise in public relations, communication strategies, and corporate productions. In 2010, she completed her MBA in Marketing and Management here at HEC Montreal and was hired as an expert in international marketing for the Ministère de l'Immigration et des Communautés Culturelles du Québec. We are also pleased to welcome two judges from the company itself, Jovia. That Diane Labelle joined Jovia as an executive director in January 2013. She's an accomplished corporate communications executive with proven competencies and a deep understanding of the importance of communications on company perception, market and brand awareness, employee performances, and results. Her past experiences have been in large, complex organizations in industry and financial services. And last, but certainly not least, we have François Fauché, who is chairman of the board of Jovia since September 2013. He's a passionate and authentic leader, and François advocates an entrepreneurial and dynamic approach. He began his career with Ernst & Young, where he held various roles, and then he joined Miloš Monex, rising through the ranks of financial management to become senior vice president and co-chief operating officer for the company that was then named TD Insurance. In 2013, he joined Garda World as senior vice president, finance and administration, responsible for finance and for the performance of Canadian operations. Now that you have gotten a chance to get acquainted with our jury, it is our time to begin our final presentations.
Is it you dealing with the time? Right. I guess we can start. Hi, everyone. I would like to thank you for giving us the opportunity to share with you our solution. But first of all, we have to thank you because you provided us all the information we needed to build our solution. What does Jovia do? It's something that everyone needs, but maybe some people don't really know about it.
First, we'd like to start off by thanking you and congratulating you on all of the great work you've done over the past 10 years for patients in both pediatric hospitals and geriatric retirement homes in the city of Montreal. So you're doing a lot of great things, and we'd like to point them out right now just to set the tone of our presentation. So you are currently providing an excellent service that all of the pertinent stakeholders acknowledge and value dearly. Second of all, the clown training programs that you have put in place are impeccable, and they are part of your competitive advantage and are one of the reasons that the Jovia program is so special. And finally, you have had so many successful events, especially your gala over the past few years, that we'd really like to applaud you for those endeavors. However, there are 5 key challenges that we have underlined as we were looking through and examining your enterprise. So, first of all, there is a lack of fundraising diversity. There is a lack of stakeholder management. The perception and awareness of the actual Jovia therapeutic clowning program is a bit unknown, and we want to work on that. We also have a few organizational structure problems and also with the creativity management process. And finally, we would like to go over the reporting and performance measurement processes that you currently have in place. So today, our mandate is simple. We want to develop a sustainable social business model to help you grow into the future and to keep on providing these amazing programs and services for patients in Montreal, in Quebec, and in Canada, and maybe even across the world. But before we go further, how about we take a look at the financial situation that is currently affecting Jovia. Viviane?
Non-profit organizations have a business model that range from charging the service and having really high costs for the service, and also giving the service for free and having no cost for their service. It's important to understand that Jovia stands in a place that they have really high costs for their service, but they can charge the price that is according to this cost. So if we go deeper to the financial analysis, we're going to start with the cost of operation. So one of the major costs of operation is the cost for the salaries for your artists and also their training. But as Rose mentioned earlier, this is really your competitive advantage. So one of the key issue is that you can't cut these costs, because really it's your competitive advantage, and if you reduce this cost, maybe it can threaten the value that you offer to your client. And if we go to the revenue side that we have from the service you offer, our analysis of the price sensibility shows us that your client have really a high sensibility of price. This is because, first of all, there are other types of service that enters in competition with the service you offer. It's not a direct competition with your service, but it's a competition for having the funding of the foundation, like other activities in residence for elderly and also in hospitals. And also, hospitals are really under-financed right now, so foundations are getting more and more demand for funding. So the operation model that you have right now, you have a negative margin on your operation, but that is something that we can afford if you have the funding model that can fill this gap. But the funding model that we have right now is really it relies only on one source, and 79% of the funding that we have is on one event. You are doing really good for that event, and corporate donors really rely on the relationship that you build, and we think that this event helps build this relationship. But we think you must diversify the funding to be able to have a sustainable model for your company.
So now that we know more about the financial structure, I'd like to introduce the stakeholders, or the main stakeholders of Jovia, and we divided them between two categories: the direct beneficiaries and the indirect beneficiaries. So who are the direct beneficiaries first? They are basically the ones that use or benefit from your services. They're going to be the patients, the hospitals, the foundations, and it might even be the government. On the other side, the indirect beneficiaries, those are the donors. But they're also divided into two subcategories, the individual donors and the corporate donors. And those are really different. What they benefit from Jovia is the image, or the name of Jovia that they can associate with their image. Then we map them in order to see which were the more influence, which of them have the most influence, and which of them have the most importance. So of course, Jovia is about social. You want to provide a service to people in hospital in order to improve their condition. So patients are the more important people because of the business model. Afterwards, you can see at the other way of the map, individual donors. As individuals, they have not really influence nor importance. But if we see them as a group, they go all the way around, and they go as really important and really influential. And then you see corporate donors, foundations. This is really important to understand in order to see where we have to go to seek for funding.
Thank you for the analysis of the stakeholders. I'd like to now turn your attention towards your business model. Now, the traditional business model focuses on several different aspects that come together to create the value proposition for your firm. But let's take a look at something called a program model, which is a slight variation on the traditional business model. This program model is actually focusing on the social mission which you have at your heart. So instead of focusing on perhaps competition and clients, you're focusing more on the fundraising and the organization and the service offering. So as you know, there are some gaps in your business model at the current moment, and we would like to focus on those throughout the duration of our presentation and show you how you can strengthen those to be able to go after the sustainability and the longevity of the program for the future. So if we take a look at the offering, which is essentially the service that you are providing to all of the beneficiaries, we don't want to change anything with that. It's excellent and everything is great. However, the perception of this service leaves a little bit to be desired. People are sort of unsure, what exactly Jovia does. So we want to really focus in on that and create awareness and increase the general perception of what Jovia does. Second of all, based on the operating model, that what is supporting the value proposition is the organization. Jovia has undergone several important changes to the leadership since 2010 after two very important board of director members unfortunately left the organization, taking with them a huge network of contacts, a lot of funding, and maybe even a bit of the vision and strategic direction. So what we really want to do is strengthen the current organizational structure, strengthen the board of directors, strengthen the executive team, and really bring everyone together and to go towards the same vision, the same direction, again, to preserve the longevity and the sustainability of Jovia in the future and to never have that vision get diluted. And if we take a look at this, the third aspect of your business model that we would like to strengthen, and that is your fundraising model. Currently, the fundraising model, aka your revenue stream, is very dependent on one single event that happens every year, which is your gala. Over 52% of your revenue comes from that one gala, which is a very risky outcome. So if something were to happen, or be a little bit less successful as predicted, this would put Jovia in a very negative, actually, position. So what we want to do is provide you with new revenue streams, new ways to get funding, so that you're not so dependent on the one event that happens every year, and that, again, you can be sustainable into the future. So throughout the rest of our presentation, we will be really focusing on those three elements and how to strengthen the business model in the end. So how are we going to diversify your fundraising model? How are we going to diversify that revenue stream?
I think it's easy and you understood it. We should aim for small donors because small donors are the key if we take them as a group.
But before being able to do that, you should first stabilize your foundation. So first of all, you should stabilize the financial. How to do that is by cutting the administration costs that are too high for your needs. One of the main accounts that we want to focus on is the rent, and that's something we already talked a bit with the board of directors. Also, we would like to suggest you new methods of accounting to be able to be more efficient and more transparent. So more efficient to be able to manage better your organization, and also more transparent to the stakeholders. And how we can do that is by having a key performance indicators for your social impact, but also for your internal management. Types of KPI that could be used is maybe the number of intervention you can do with $1 $1 of fund that you receive. Also, we want to measure the number of the donors that comes back every year. That's something also really important. Also, we want to measure the return on investment for the marketing expenses, so to be able to really put our expenses in some places where we can really have funds getting back.
Well, first, it is important to understand trends. Gamification. Gamification is using games to promote an application or causes. Well, there's more and more causes that use gamification in order to build app to be able to reach more and more donors. There's also more and more people that use mobile to pay to donate money. There's also more and more people that donate micro donation. So it is really important to take these different trends into consideration because we have to know what do we want to achieve. Well, we'd like to achieve what this guy already achieved. He was able to double his fund during the 2008 election. How? Using small donation. He was able to prove that small donation counts. Well, now, our solution, the application. It's simple, it's follow your mission, your values. It's called You Make Me Smile. What it is, it's pretty simple. You download it and it's free. Your friend, take a picture of himself. He set a price from $0 to $10, for example, and send it to his friend. His friend then receives it and has 1 second to see the picture. What happened? He has to choose. Does he pay the $2, for example, and have the chance to download the picture? or he doesn't pay the $2. But if he paid the $2 go to your causes. Furthermore, it is important to understand that this application will also improve creativity. We would like to launch a creativity meeting in order to involve all your stakeholders. For example, Therapeutical Clown have the knowledge to help app designer to develop the app. They know the mission, they know the values, they know what they would like to see. It is important to add them in the process. You empower them. Furthermore, we would like also to reassure you that the financial aspect is taken care of. We would like to have a partnership with companies such as We Are or SEVOL that are willing to do work for pro bono. So there's no financial risk for you. But now, marketing doesn't actually stop at the phone. There's more.
So we really think that this app has the potential of raising awareness for your brand, but also raising a lot of fun. But how can we make this app known to everybody? So one of the aspects is having a partnership for the month of smile, le mois du sourire. How to choose this partner? We have to choose on the basis of scale, so a partner that is local, since your company is local in Montreal and in Quebec. Also the industry. So we have really to focus on a partner that is in the same industry as yours, so health, but also relation. And also have the same value as yours. So create sustainable relationship. So the first partner that came to us was Jean Coutu, this pharmacy here in Quebec. We really think that this is the best partner for you. Why? Because they're in Quebec, so they have the same skill as you are. Also, they're in the medical industry. But really the most important thing is that their motto is on trouve de tout, même un ami. So it really means that they focus on the same values as yours, create sustainable relationship with clients in health sector. So we really think that this is the perfect partner for you. But yeah, there's a risk that this partner may not accept the offer. So we thought about another partner, like maybe Family Prix, that is a bit similar to Jean Coutu. It could be something. And you also always have to take into consideration the criteria that we named before, so the scale, the value, so the skills and the value that are really important in the industry if you want to choose a partner for this kind of partnership in the future. So how can we really improve awareness for our app in this partnership? So what we will do is, I'm just going to let Emeric explain.
I'm going to take it. So basically, how can we leverage this partnership? Jean Coutu is really famous in Quebec, and a lot of people are going there, maybe most of the people. And when you go to the cashier, you have, like, let's say I have a bill of $15.57. In my head, this is 16. And sometimes people ask you, would you like to add $1 more? But this is like, I don't know, I'm always stretched by organizations, even if there are charities, and I might be not comfortable. But since in my head this is $16, the cashiers could just ask me, would you like to make it 16? And the 43 cents would go to a foundation. So basically, I pay the same price, or in my head it's the same. It's transparent, it's really easy. And what it does, it's for each client, we can have a really small amount. But as you remember, me, it's 43 cents. But if we go to the total amount of donors, it can become huge. How much? How much do you think for 1 month? Up to $100,000. And how does this number come up? It doesn't come up of my imagination or a rate that I invented. No. Actually, JCPenney in the US, it's a famous department store, thank you. They did the same strategy. And they did it for 6 months, and they were able to raise $10.4 billion. So we wanted to be still conservative. We don't know if it's going to work as well in Quebec. So we divided the conversion rate by 3. And then we took into consideration Jean Coutu revenues. And this is how we come with $100,000. If we take the same conversion rate, we go up to $300,000 in 1 month. This is really amazing, and this is really how we can leverage a partnership with Jean Coutu and small individual donors in order to build something really, really great. But having money is great, you need it, but it shouldn't stop there. So what are we going to do next?
So what then? One quote that really inspired us was from no other than Madame Labelle, who said, "When you see Jovia's artists working, you have no option but to be touched." And we feel that same way too. We all remember the first time that we saw Jovia in action from the YouTube videos that you currently have online, and seeing the artists, so the clowns, going in and visiting the sick children in the hospital and seeing their faces light up. It's inspiring, it's magical, and it's something that we want to see continued into the future, and there's a lot of value in that. So how are we going to do this? How are we going to get the experience to people who don't necessarily have the chance to see Jovia in action? Well, we would like to recreate this experience through social media platforms. So whether it be through Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, or Instagram, and any other platform that currently exists. So take Twitter, for instance. If we use the hashtag that we spoke about earlier, the "You Make Me Happy," and get people tweeting about it, people who have seen Jovia in action, people who would like to learn more about it, it'll really help recreate the experience. They can share pictures and videos and testimonials on how much they really enjoy the service. Furthermore, the YouTube channel can be leveraged to really show and not tell people what Jovia does, because that's really the heart of it. It's seeing Jovia in action where the value is. Now, Facebook is sort of the aggregator of all this. All of this can be shown across multiple networks through the social media networks. So if we think about this and go a bit further, we now end up at our short-term implementation plan. So we'd first like to start off, of course, by diversifying and balancing the current funding that you have. So this goes back to the initial funding model, so your revenue stream that we would like to diversify. So like we said earlier about getting the individual donors on board and really leveraging their huge aggregate value. Raising awareness and education about Jovia and its service through social media and also through word of mouth, of course. And all this, of course, will be leveraged through social media platforms. Now, another thing I would really like to discuss is the donor retention rates. Currently, we're not too sure of the exact rate, and that's a bit of a problem for us because we would really like to see you actually measure your retention rates, because being able to extend the lifetime value of a donor can yield huge results for you, and basically keeping them interest. Because that's one of the main issues, right, is because donors they may donate for a few years and they eventually lose interest and they stop donating. So we really want to stop that from happening, and we want to implement a thorough communication plan through sending out donor recognition, the donor lifetime journey, so pointing out donor life milestones. So for instance, you just donated $5,000, thank you. You just created 20,000 smiles. And really getting them inspired on a regular basis to keep their interest intact. So this is all really great for the short term. And once everyone knows, everyone can start to smile. But we need to be able to think about the sustainability, again, of your business model. And that's really going to come in with our midterm and long-term implementation plans.
So just to clarify, the month of Smile will happen in the month of May. So it's in the short term, but it's in like the long short term. So it's at the end of the next year, since your financial year starts in July. So you have a full year to prepare for this month of Smile. But after that, this will create a big event around your app, around the social media, and around your partnership with Jean Coutu. And after, what we do, we want to also leverage the corporate donors, but in Quebec. So you're doing a really great event in Montreal, and you want to do another event, but in Quebec. Since your event is in May in Montreal, we want to do something in the winter in Quebec, and we're thinking about a ski event, like a 24-hour ski in Quebec. There are 3 mountains in Quebec, so maybe you could partner with one of the 3. You have more chance to being accepted by one of these partners. And you could target a smaller corporations. So people can create a team, and maybe the corporation could donate, and also individual could donate to be part of this team for the 24-hour ski. So this is really for the regional expansion, and it's creating an event, but that does not conflict with your event that you have in Montreal.
And then the long-term plan. Strengthening links with foundation, because they're still the one who make decision. But I would like to be more specific about creativity management. It is something that touched me. First of all, what we have to do, what you have to do in your company, is to define an artistic director. We had the chance to discuss this with Florence. She already told us she would be willing to wear this hat. This actor is also a key player because she's actually sitting on the board, but she's also part of the executive team. So she could actually be the link between your artist, the executive team, and the board. She could share new ideas from the bottom to the top, and vice versa. What kind of process would we like to implement? Well, first of all, it is a little bit silly, but it is important to define what is creativity. Creativity can be defined as many ways. There's different levels and there's different facets. For example, at the individual level, at the group level, and the organization level. But in your case, Aalto, what is important is a different facet. You have artistic creativity, you have therapeutic creativity, but also business creativity. So we would like to empower your employee to be able to find solutions in each of these facets. For example, by creating meetings within the company for the creativity, but also for the therapeutic and also for the business. We also have already ideas for you. We had the chance to discuss with Florence, for example, on the scheduling process, but also how to match the right artist with the right patient. Those are all ideas that can be fostered inside those meetings to build a business case to be presented to the board of directors. Then, the most important part, to empower you. We've already set measures, KPIs, but now it's your turn to empower yourself. Thank you. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, just in order to sum up maybe the short-term, mid-term, and long-term strategy, we saw at the beginning the map of the stakeholders. So the more influent and more important are the individual donors as a group. That's why we're going to target them in the first year in short terms. So what do? There is the app launch that is supported by the Smiling Months and the partnership with Jean Coutu. And this Smiling Months, it's really important, it ends with the gala. So there is really something coherent. And also during the first year, we have the occasion to launch step by step the social media strategy. The second year, if we remember correctly too, the second most important and most influential stakeholders were the corporations. So the second year and third year, the midterm strategy really focus on corporate. Your financial committees is already networking in the area of Quebec in order to make contact. So we want to take advantage of that. Actually, we don't start, but we keep the corporate networking in this area, and in the middle of the year, we launch the ski event. So we have time to prepare it. And still, there is the Smiling Months in Montreal that you can see in gray, and of course, the gala. We do not stop that. For the long-term strategy, we keep going on the map of the stakeholders, and there is the foundations. They're really important. They are the final clients a lot of time for the hospital because they have to take the decisions, and we strongly believe you should strengthen your relationship with them. So in the long-term strategy, we want to improve the relation with foundations, one-to-one, and still keep the skiing event, the Smiling Months, and the gala. So now if you have questions, we are ready.
Thank you very much for a very interesting presentation. And I see very well that you can, with your recommendation, you can really connect to Generation Y, which is millennium. But then Statistic Canada reports that the majority of donations come from the baby boomers generation. And in your case, you have very detailed description of the behavior of each generation, about 4 different generations. So baby boomers, they don't work with social media, right? They grew up and they are under different influence. And do you think that now just focusing on the Y generation is sufficient?
I think I can answer that. I think this is why first we want to make the app, and the app is going to increase brand awareness, but we also did the partnership with Jean Coutu. And this is something really important. It really goes toward the baby boomers. And on the other hand, there are several data that highlight that baby boomers, they're like one of the most rising category in the social media. They are not already a huge amount of users, but their usage is really, really growing. So I think the 2 propositions really make the turn for baby boomers.
Well, first of all, thank you very much. Well done, well structured, and really easy to follow. I have one question. I know you realize that the heart and soul of our organization is our artist. So it starts and ends with our artist, and this is what we believe we have to work on. We'd like to hear from you why you're positioning the creativity management, looking at engaging, making sure that our artists are engaged, that we have a clear vision and so forth, and you're positioning it more on the longer term than we should not look at it sooner. I'd like to hear the rationale why is it further down your plan.
Well, it was a difficult decision to make sure that to install creativity decision towards the long term. But because we wanted to solidify the basis, because we've seen within interview that ideas are not able to be fostered, to be actually created and put in place. So we wanted to make sure that there's processes and the structure of your company is solidified enough to make sure that those processes can be maintained in the future and be controlled. So this is why we wanted to push a little bit further creativity management to be sure that the structure is enough solidified.
And if I could just add to that, we're really impressed with the retention rate of your artists. They're very engaged, and I think they love what they do. So I don't think there's an inherent danger of them leaving the organization anytime soon. But like Louis said, we can sort of push it back so we can focus more on the stabilization of Jovia.
So do I take these pictures as you wanted to apply to become an artist? Or?
We learned we couldn't, actually. We didn't do the studies for that, so we couldn't. We wanted to, but...
We see in the case that there's a specific problem with the Quebec City area where they have more trouble getting in the market. I kind of have a doubt if the ski event, all the other recommendations you do, I see the fil conducteur behind it. I see there's a strong link between the heart of the of the organization and your propositions. But for the ski event, I wonder, is it the real good activity to bring back Jovia in the market?
Ski activity, because one of the main reasons corporation donates is because of the business circle. So you will have to create this business circle, and by doing an event with corporate donors, and also individual donors, it could help with that. But also the creativity process that we will implement in the organization could help you find new ways to target the Quebec segment, since all the stakeholders, they really are the right people, they have the right information, and if we create a process where all the stakeholders can give the input on which ways are the best to target this segment, it could really help you in the future. So that's really one event in the midterm, so you can you can start creating your business circle sooner, but in the long term, maybe the creative process will give you more solution, more well adapted to your situation.
And if I may add, this is also about leveraging your strengths. Because actually, what really works well now is the gala event. So you build that in Montreal step by step, and it's growing huge. And now it's so huge that it's a risk. And we know you have like the capacity, and you have the knowledge to really build the same event in Quebec. We say ski because it's going to be in the winter in order not to interfere with the other one. But what we really want to do is to implement creative processes, and then you can find the right event for the organization. This is really important for us.
So let's do a live focus group. So I love the app thing. So a live focus group to you guys. If you were to receive a picture from your friend with a nose and asking for $5, would you pay it?
That's a big discussion that we have that we had in our team, and that's why we made the app that you can pay or not pay for the app. So if people are not willing to pay, it can also raise brand awareness, even if you don't receive funds from the app. So the app can raise brand awareness without receiving funds, but our dream would be that the app raise brand awareness but also receive funds. But if it's not, you have no financial risk because it's a company that will make it for free for you. So you have no financial risk. It raise brand awareness, and maybe in the future you will be able to raise funds from it.
And we had another solution. We decided yesterday to limit the price to $2 because we really didn't want people to say, okay, let's buy it for $999, because nobody's going to do that. Nobody's going to buy that, but people could do that. So we wanted to really fix a small maximal price in order to avoid those problems, actually.
I would just like to think actually out loud with you about your app. Something that bugs me about the app is that it's difficult to find a direct connection with the core capability of this organization. The core capability you mentioned is the role that the artistic clowns are playing. So it could be interesting to try to input the role of those clowns into the app. For instance, one step further in the gamification process could be to work on the idea that can you resist the clown, for instance? You ask the clown to perform, and I don't know, you have a short movie, and if you don't laugh, okay, you don't pay. But if you laugh, you have to pay. You see, there's a connection to. Yes, there's a connection to find between the core capabilities and the app itself.
But we brainstormed actually for the application, and we had like a couple of ideas. We selected this one, but with the pilot project where actually the artists will be empowered and will be able to participate, they'll be able to give us ideas or maybe new ways or new ideas for the application. So the application is pretty open right now. It's only a design. We're willing to discuss with you other, I guess, capabilities for this application.
I believe one key element is to try to demonstrate the therapeutic power of laughter. I think it's really key. It's the red thread in the whole organization.
But we had an idea that was really similar to yours yesterday. It was to receive movies that were related to your humor or something like that. But why we choose this kind of application of app is because there were no costs associated with that. But the idea of creating films, there's a cost associated with that. So maybe it's something that we can work in the future, but for now, you don't have the financial capabilities to take this risk. So this app has really no risk.
And this is also in order to be able to renew the app. We thought that if you skip your friend's picture, you don't buy it, then you could have a clown picture and decide to buy it or not. But we didn't want it to implement it the first year. Then we can upgrade the app and renew the interest of people for this app and really thinking long term.
You have to think as a growth platform in a certain way.
Thank you very much for your presentation. Very, very interesting, very nice. proposition. I really appreciate that. I was concerned though, because you have like three new propositions for the first year. It's a lot of work for us, you know, we're only a small amount of people. We're a non-profit organization. It's hard for us to hire extra people. What is your solution to help us realizing
well, you currently have a position within the organization which focuses on sort of the communication and the social media. So we feel like we can sort of add a few more tasks to that actual job description in order to put into place the social media platform that we were hoping to leverage the brand awareness and the perception of the brand. And also the retention. We are hoping to leverage the customer relationship management system that we understand that you sort of have in place. We want to sort of increase the capabilities of that system to really derive more value from it so that you can use the data that you have to be able to derive metrics and to be able to actually track your progress in terms of donor retention, which is, in our opinion, one of the key ways to have a sustainable business model in the future.
But also, we thought about hiring a marketing intern, so maybe for only 2 days for the first years, and after that, see if we have the need for more. And the third way to make this event is leveraging Bénévoles d'Affaires, which is an organization that you know pretty well. So maybe you can leverage the relation that you have with them, make them work on the organization of events with the marketing intern and the capability of the employees that you already have.
Well, thank you very much.
Two days ago, we saw one of the videos from Jovia. It was about the therapeutic clowns helping a young child. After the video was over, the room was completely silent. That's when we turned our heads around and looked at each other, and we realized that this was something special. My name is Casper. This is Jonathan, Maya, and Renee. We're from Copenhagen Business School. And we have developed a 3-step process called reorganize, recognize, and retain. We organize the donor portfolio, recognize the need for quantifiable outputs, and retain the art of clowning. We believe that by using this approach, Jovia is able to touch the lives of those who need it most and inspire others just as they have inspired us. In the following, we'll be taking you through the details of our proposal. In the following, we'll be taking you through the details of our proposal, along with impact and implementation. And to start it off, I will hand it over to Maya.
Thank you. So, even though we all recognize that Jovia is a very special organization with a very unique mandate, we cannot ignore the current financial challenges facing Jovia. First of all, Jovia has been running a budget deficit for 3 consecutive years, threatening the actual existence of the organization. But what is more than that, looking at the mix of funding sources, we can see that Jovia is actually extremely highly reliant on only one source of funding, namely the benefit gala. You'll see here, this is the distribution of the funding, the relative distribution. This is also way above the industry best practice, which is to only rely on maximum 25% of funding from one source. So this is creating a very risky foundation.